Have to be here to teach us tonight. We're just gonna be chilling out the rest of the wedding. Anyway, I started thinking about how rare a double wedding was. Well, like Eric, I have a degree in electrical engineering, and we tend to like our numbers. So here are a few. Less than 1% of weddings are double weddings. Both of our couples are high school sweethearts, technically. Less than 2% of high school sweethearts who marry even complete college. Less than 2% of total marriages are high school sweethearts. And both the brides and grooms come from homes where the parents are in long-term marriages 25 years plus. The odds of a couple staying together that long is less than 50%.
High school sweethearts.
And high school sweethearts there. Okay, that changes the calculation here. I ran a calculation and found out it was like 1 in 2 million that we'd all be here at this event tonight because of that. But now that just changed to 1 in 3 million. So several weeks ago, I had a sales lady that works with me from Dallas. She came in and said, "You know, I really want to go to that wedding. I don't even know anybody." I mean, she knew Eric, she knew Mark from work. I'm talking about Danielle. Danielle goes, "I paid to go to that wedding. I would fly up here." And I haven't worked for startups for the last 10 years. I realized we really screwed up. Bob, Arlen, we could have made a lot of money off this thing. You know, we could have gotten sponsorships, sold t-shirts, raffle off invitations. We could have done it all. Anyways, an ancient Chinese proverb says that your son is your pride and your daughter your love. I'm fortunate to know this firsthand with my children. Tonight, the bride's parents are celebrating their pure loves and perhaps mourning a little bit the loss of the little girls that they raised. Tomorrow, the brides will be the center of attention, and I'm sure it'll be beautiful, and everyone will be talking about them. Tonight, I want to be a bit prideful and talk about the grooms. So, these are exceptional young men. They're close to their families, committed to their longtime loves. They're scholars, they're friends. They're talented in their professions, they're born leaders, athletes, and they're close in their faith. They're great workers, have incredible bright futures. Each of these traits they exhibit will make them successful husbands and fathers. As a parent of Eric, I'm extremely proud of the man he's become, and I know the mass are equally proud of Mark. Now's my chance to roast Eric a little bit. Eric is my middle child. I've always felt a special bond to him because I'm the middle child as well of 3 kids. Even though he shares more of a temperament with my wife, Mary Ellen. We have other things that we share as well. The Hubers tend to have and to be really big babies. And Eric was the biggest one by far. Molly, I truly feel sorry for you if this trend continues. Eric was huge, with a big head. He got stuck for several hours. Then he was the first that came out. Mary Ellen thanked God many times that day for the creation of the epidural. I still remember looking in the window of the nursery that night after the delivery. Mary Ellen was gorged out on drugs. We didn't hear from her for like 2 days. And another parent was standing next to me. Everybody's lined up the window. Eric's in one crib. There's an empty crib next to him, and the guy proclaimed, "I think that baby just ate the other baby." His whole childhood, Eric always complained about one physical ailment after the other. Prior to the junior year, he had a spontaneous collapse of his lung while warming up as a pitcher on the summer baseball team. I, of course, being a good parent, told him to suck it up and stop being a wuss. When we got home 2 hours later, Mary Ellen was already talking with her nurse friends and immediately took him to Children's Mercy South. By the time I got there, Eric was laying on the table with a chest tube that surrounded by 25 nurses. I remember going up to him and saying, "Eric, enjoy this moment. That's never going to happen again in your life." Eric had 3 chest tubes put in that week. The last one was an emergency without anesthesia. The nurses told us that he had an extremely high pain tolerance. We never called him a wuss again. Several years later at Benedictine, Eric called one night saying he wasn't feeling well. We heard later that Molly told him not to be a wuss, that was just a flu. Sure enough, Sure enough, 6 hours later, he had an emergency appendectomy. So Molly, if he ever complains and doesn't feel good, get him to the hospital immediately. I have a million other stories about Eric. His transformation from a shy, dorky introvert who actually threw up on the first day of school, walking up to class.
High school. St. James. Yeah.
High school. Yeah. Hey, you get nervous. What can you do? And he's turned this kind, outgoing, intelligent man that he is today. Eric saved my life in Hawaii too. I almost drowned. So. I know he's happy. After meeting Molly, we've seen a change in Eric. Well, when he's around, that is. But he's grown up. He's confident. I only have 20 more of these, so we're getting there, folks. Eric, you're the middle child. And you've never been invisible to us. Your mother and I have been in awe watching you grow, all that you've accomplished, the challenges you've tackled and conquered. I've got some advice now for the grooms. This year, Marielle and I celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary. And if you ask her, she'll tell you that she's been happily married for 22 years. As a husband, I think I've narrowed it down to, I've made a lot of mistakes as a husband, but I think I've narrowed it down to 2 things that will guarantee your success. First, marriage is hard. The first few years of marriage are the best years of your life. But it's hard to stay together. It's hard, that piece of paper really matters. It's a commitment that doesn't guarantee happiness. It's a one-sided contract that you agree to regardless of what your spouse does. My advice to you is get married tomorrow, but continue to act like you're still dating. Don't take each other for granted. Keep trying to be your best. Make your spouse the number one person in your life after God, but before your children, friends, and family members. Second, guys, for some reason, these young ladies fell in love with you as you are now. Retain your identity, which is easy now, but it's hard when you have kids. Girls, the Maths and the Hubers, along with God, have spent 23 years of work and worry to make these two into the nearly perfect God-fearing men that they are now. Don't screw it up. Finally, to wrap it up, I'd like to say congratulations to Bob and Amy Risco, Arlen and Kathy Mast. Marielle and I are truly blessed to have your friendship. Bob and Amy, you raised a beautiful, smart, loving person that we're delighted to be able to call our daughter-in-law. Our son is the beneficiary of your efforts. Thank you so much. Molly, you asked Eric to the first dance, and that's where we were able to meet you for the first time. This always struck me as funny because I actually knew Emily freshman year from the play. And every dance would come up and I'd say, Eric, who are you going to ask out on the dance? And I said, there's this really nice girl named Emily Risco.
I do remember that.
And he'd be like, I don't really know her yet. So anyway, after that first dance, I asked Eric if he was going to ask you out, and I told him that if he didn't, he was the biggest dumbass in the world. So anyway, we're delighted that Eric has found you. We happily welcome you into our family. Last one. To wrap it up, it's not too early to monetize this unique twin thing, this double marriage, and the babies to come. Perhaps a raffle's in order. I've already drawn up a list of potential sponsors. Everybody, if you could, please raise a glass and please help give a toast to Eric, Molly, Mark, and Emily. May God bless you with a lifetime of happiness together. Cheers.